The scar burned hotter than fire as he stepped into the blinding lodge of the sun. Shadows could not hide him now. Every secret rose from his chest like sparks, each one threatening to expose him completely. Would the sun heal him, or destroy him for daring to ask? He was born with a scar that stretched like a crooked river across his cheek. Children stared, grown people looked away. He learned to walk the long way around others, keeping to shadow. Yet he listened more than anyone. He learned the sound of wind in lodge poles, the hush before snow. "I am not a wound," he told the dawn. "I am a person, and I will find my path." His mother, patient as winter pines, stitched his moccasins and his pride. She told him, "Our people survive because we keep trying." Her hands, rough from scraping hides, were gentle on his face. "Then I will try," he said. He promised to seek a way to change his life, not to escape it. He would return with something worth the looking, even if his scar stayed. A girl he loved laughed with the others beneath the cottonwoods. He kept his distance, wearing silence like a robe. Her eyes were kind, but pity stung worse than teasing. "Do not pity me," he whispered to the trees. "Let me earn respect." He watched a hawk carve circles in the blue and wondered if the sky had medicine stronger than shame. An elder heard his worry and studied him as if reading tracts. "Beauty fades," the elder said, "but courage leaves prints that last. The sun sees everything. Ask the sun for help." The words lodged in his heart like a glowing coal. If the sun saw all, perhaps the sun saw him truly. He decided to travel beyond familiar hills and speak to that great light. He gathered a bow, dried meat, a water skin, and his mother's quiet blessing. She brushed his hair and tied a blue bead at the end, the color of far-off mornings. "Walk straight," she said. "Walk honest." He left before sunrise, when the world holds its breath. Behind him, the village smoked and sighed. Ahead, a single path leaked gold between the grasses. The plains tested him first. Buffalo trails forked, coyotes called, and thirst reached up like hot hands. He swallowed dust and kept moving east, where dawn grew out of darkness. At night, he counted stars until his courage matched their number. He learned the weight of hunger and the relief of a small creek, the way willow shade feels like forgiveness. He met a badger digging a stubborn hole and learned persistence. He watched cranes ride a wind he could not see and learned trust. A wounded deer limped past and taught him mercy. He began to thank what he saw. "You are all teachers," he said. The land did not answer in words, but it answered in signs. A path of light on water, a breeze at his back. Mountains rose like old chiefs keeping counsel. Clouds braided their peaks. He climbed until his breath burned, and the scar on his cheek ached like a drum under a cold hand. At a high pass, he found a stone doorway shaped by time. The arch faced the sunrise. He knew this was a threshold. He stepped through, leaving part of his fear behind. On the other side, a river curled bright as metal. When he leaned over, the water refused his reflection. Only the sky appeared. As if the river would not remind him of pain. He took that as invitation. He washed his face and spoke to the current. "Carry me where I must go." He followed its shining spine until it widened into a lake like an eye. An old woman woven with wrinkles sat beside a driftwood fire. She stirred a pot that smelled of cedar and thunder. "I have been expecting you," she said without looking up. "I came to find the sun," he answered. "I came to be more whole." She nodded. "Then bring honesty, patience, and rhythm. The sun speaks in those languages." She handed him 3 things, a willow hoop, a bundle of sage, and a song made of 4 drum beats. "Circle, cleansing, heartbeat," she said. "Keep them together, keep them true." He thanked her and slept near her fire. As he dreamed, The hoop glowed like a horizon. The sage became clear smoke, and the drum beats matched his pulse until dawn. Morning poured amber across the lake, and a narrow bridge of light unrolled to the east. "Walk," the old woman said. "Do not look down. Do not look back." He stepped onto the light, and the world fell away. Wind sang through his bones. The sun rose like a living lodge, its doorway radiant, and the bridge carried him to its threshold. Inside was brightness without heat, power without anger. The sun regarded him the way a father regards a child who dares to speak truth. "Why do you come?" the sun asked gently. "I am called Scarface," he said, steady now. "I have carried shame. I ask for medicine to walk among my people without lowering my eyes, and something I can bring back for them." "Truth first," said the sun. "Stand where shadow cannot hide you." He stood in the open blaze. Every secret, fear, envy, grief, rose like sparks. He named each one aloud. Naming did not destroy him. The sparks drifted upward and became small stars. "You do not own what you can release," the sun said. His chest felt lighter, his breath a longer river. "Now endurance," said the sun, and days became long ropes he had to hold. He danced alone on the bright floor until his legs trembled, then steadied, then grew strong as lodge poles. He learned that pain can be a doorway if the heart is listening. Sweat ran like rain. Somewhere in the rhythm, he stopped fighting time and began to move with it. "Compassion," the sun whispered, and opened a window onto the world. He saw his mother waiting, the girl by the trees, the children who laughed, the elder who had spoken. He felt their worries and hopes as if they were his own. Tears came, cooling his face. "You are ready," said the sun. "You have met yourself and did not turn away." Light gathered, fine as pollen, and drifted to his cheek. It hummed like bees in clover. Warmth seeped into the scar, not erasing his past, but welcoming it home. When the glow dimmed, his face was smooth. More than that, his gaze was clear, like water that has learned to reflect and to receive. He bowed to the sun and to himself. "You asked for something for your people," the sun said. "Take this ceremony. It honors truth, endurance, and compassion. It renews the bond between earth and sky. Lead it with care." He received a vision, a great circle of poles, a central tree, drums like thunder on hooves, dancers fasting and praying, the community gathered in strength and gratitude. The bridge of light returned, but now it moved to his rhythm. He carried the willow hoop, the sage, and the four-beat song, which had grown into many voices that would one day be his people's. He thanked the old woman at the lake. She only smiled and lifted her hand. The mountains opened like books read once and understood forever. He walked down, singing. On the plains, buffalo raised their heavy heads as if greeting a relative. The sun on the grass looked like small fires blessing his footprints. He gathered cottonwood bark for later embers. Nights felt shorter. He dreamed of a central tree wrapped in prayer ties and faces lit from within. The hoop hung at his side, ready to become a horizon again. When he reached the edge of the village, children ran forward, then slowed, puzzled. "It is him," one said. "And also not him," said another. He smiled without hiding, and their eyes softened. His mother touched his cheek as if it were a new moon. She cried and laughed together. "You walked straight," she said. "You walked honest." He nodded and held her hands. He asked for counsel. People gathered, curious as magpies. He told them about truth named aloud, about endurance learned by dancing into pain, about compassion that braided all lives. "I have brought a ceremony," he said. "It is not a performance. It is a promise. It is strength and renewal, carried in a circle, returned to us by the sun." They cut straight poles and honored each one with breath. They chose a central tree and sang to it before lifting. The circle rose like a spine for the people's prayers. Women cooked broth for the fasters. Elders blessed the ground with sage smoke. The lodge trembled slightly in the wind, as if eager to hold what was coming. 4 drummers sat at a great drum, hands ready. The first beat felt like a heart waking after winter sleep. The second matched it. The third and fourth drew the circle tight. Voices braided around the drum like river strands. The old woman's 4-beat song stood up inside their singing, smiling, recognized. Children stared wide-eyed and still. He tied himself to the center with promises, not to suffer for suffering's sake, but to speak with his whole body. He lifted his eyes to the opening at the top, where day looked down. Step after step, breath after breath, he turned sweat into prayer. Others joined, each bringing a quiet hunger for healing, for guidance, for reunion with themselves. Hunger sharpened thoughts, thirst carved edges. He met anger and invited it to sit, then asked it to leave. He met fear and thanked it for its warning before dancing past it. In the steady beat, he found room for every feeling and a path beyond each one. The circle did not erase hardship. It taught the feet how to move through it. On the final day, the light inside the lodge widened like a smile. The dancer's eyes shone with the same brightness he had seen in the sun's lodge. Children laughed from relief. They broke their fast carefully, sipping broth, tasting the world new. People embraced. The central tree stood proud, dressed in prayers that flickered like small birds. The elder who had once sent him on his way approached. "Your face is smooth," the elder said, "but your true change is in your walk. You carry the sun's lesson." The people named him for the gift he carried, not for the mark he had lost. He accepted the name as a responsibility to keep the circle honest, patient, and rhythmic. The girl approached with no pity in her eyes, only recognition. "I see you," she said, simple as water. He laughed softly, surprised at how light joy could feel in his chest. They spoke beneath cottonwoods, leaves whispering like friendly gossip. He told her of bridges of light. She told him of waiting. The future listened from nearby, polite and attentive. Every year, when the grass turned a certain green, the people raised the lodge again. They fasted, sang, and danced, renewing their strength, sharpening their compassion, polishing their truth. He led when needed and stepped back when others carried the song. Children learned the 4 beats, elders smiled, and the sun, warm and watchful, kept its promise above the faithful circle. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the bell so you never miss another interesting tales.